Euro qualifiers are finally done. So let's talk about them. Before we start this video, just wanted to mention that we have merch. There's a lot of great options, but people seem to really love the hat. Let me show you the hat real quick. Here it is. This is the hat. Here's better pictures of it, because this really doesn't give it justice. Anyways, though, if you want to go and buy some drip for yourself, go to macwill.store. So months before the playoffs even kicked off, we witnessed the draws for the main tournament itself. And things were relatively tame. After the third pot was sorted, we saw Germany actually had a chance to not embarrass themselves this year. Maybe. Croatia and Albania drew into the same group. I'm sure that'll be a peaceful affair. England and Belgium got Mickey Mouse groups. And France, Netherlands, and Australia formed the group of death. But then came the last pot. You might be thinking this must be one of those highlight reels where a certain channel has wacky samba football music, or whatever the the genre is called, while displaying the key moments of the draw. And you're dead wrong. Because in this same video, throughout the first 3 pots, all you heard was normal commentary and announcements. Here's what actually happened during the 4th pot draw.
100 there is some noise here.
Italy.
Basically what happened was that someone placed a phone in the studio with the ringtone set to that. And this prank was pulled off by a relatively known prankster named Jerzo, who had actually done the same thing during an FA Cup draw. Sex noises aside, here's how the groups were finalized. Switzerland was drawn into Group A with Scotland, Hungary, and Germany. The Swiss are shambolic right now, and Scotland loves to underperform in international tournaments, so this actually means Germany has a pretty good chance of moving on. Update real quick, Julian Nagelsmann has led this team to wins against France and the Netherlands, so yeah, they're definitely going through. Group B gives us a very interesting mix of Spain, Italy, Croatia, and Albania. We've already mentioned Croatia and Albania, however, Spain and Croatia also have history from the last Euros, as do Spain and Italy, who faced each other in the semis in 2021, and also faced each other in the final in 2012. Group C reunited Denmark and Slovenia, who literally were in the same qualification group together. Then there's Serbia and one of the favorites, England. Place your bets on how they'll f it up this time. We already mentioned Group D, and Lord have mercy on whoever prevails in Path A of the playoffs. Group B has both Slovakia and Romania returning after a single absence, and they're getting a warm welcome from the Belgians. The last spot in the group will go to the Path B playoff winner, so it'll either be Iceland, Bosnia, Ukraine, or... wait a minute. Lastly, we have Group F, which has Portugal, Czechia, and Turkey, who is currently figuring out whether or not to give their fans something similar to Paris syndrome or whether to actually become dark horses. However, it gets better, because whichever of the 4 in Path C wins, it's a neutral's wet dream either way, because you'll either have a first-timer like Georgia, Kazakhstan, or Luxembourg. And it'll be really funny if Luxembourg go through, because they'll be reunited with the team that actively f***s them raw every game. Or, if Greece wins, we will get to witness the funniest game in this tournament by far. So quickly, let's go over how the playoffs work before we go into any highlights. 12 teams remain and are drawn into one of 3 paths. In every path, there is a semi-final and a final, and winner of each path final will go on to qualify for Euro 2024. And we'll start with Path A. Wales' relatively young core has seemingly done well in progressing past the need for Gareth Bale as they lit up Finland at home 4-1. On the other side of the bracket, Poland annihilated Estonia 5-1. Even if it was Estonia, who I might add scored less goals than San Marino, Poland actually produced a really good performance. So the first path would be decided between Wales and Poland in Cardiff. Wales was the more aggressive team and looked the most dangerous, but Wojciech Szczesny was simply unbeatable on the night. The game went on into extra time, and with the Welsh energy diminishing, Poland flipped the switch and started hounding their opponents. But it was to no avail, and with 120 minutes complete, this would be decided by a penalty shootout. To start, Robert Lewandowski and Ben Davies converted their team's first attempts. Next, Sebastian Szymanski scores. Then Kiefer Moore. The third set of penalties from both nations were flawless as well. 22-year-old Nikola Zalewski then steps up and scores, as does Nico Williams. Now onto the 5th set, substitute Krzysztof Piatek effortlessly scores. Daniel James now has to score to keep Wales alive, and it's saved by Szczesny, meaning Poland go on to win and become your first team going to Euro 2024 through the playoffs. Over in Path B, Bosnia and Ukraine battled it out on a pitch Meading Stadium would be very proud of. On paper, Ukraine were favorites, but Bosnia had other ideas and took the lead in the 56th minute through a Ukraine own goal. Bosnia had the opportunity to close up shop in the 81st minute but failed to convert, and they rued that chance pretty much immediately. And then just 3 minutes later, informed Girona striker Artem Dovbyk completes the turnaround to send Ukraine to the final of Path B. Next, we go to Poland for Iceland versus Israel.
Ajaba!
So now we had the final of Path B set between Ukraine and Iceland in a neutral venue. And Albert Gudmundsson, who scored a hat-trick in the last game, unleashed a firecracker to shock Ukraine early on. Ukraine were not going to let 2022 happen again, however, as they found an equalizer in the 52nd minute. Then the turnaround was completed once more after Mikhailo Mudryk drove one into the corner in the 84th minute. Ukraine go on to win 2-1 and qualify for Euro 2024. On to Path C, and after having away fans create some of the best noise and luring in a lot of football hipsters with numerous impressive upsets, Kazakhstan would give back to their fans new and old by conceding 4 goals in the first half against Greece.
My disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined.
Greece went on to win 5-0 and now had the opportunity to qualify for a major tournament for the first time in a decade. That's right, World Cup 2014 was almost a decade ago. You are getting old. There are professional players younger than you. You are starting to not understand what the young generation is even saying anymore. You ask yourself, what's a phantom tap? Next was Georgia versus Luxembourg, and even though the Georgians would be without Kvaradona for the semis, they still managed to take the lead in the 40th minute. However, Luxembourg, knowing they weren't playing Portugal, actually fought back and scored through Gerson Rodriguez. But not so fast, says VAR, who calls back the play due to a foul just 40 seconds prior. Not only is the goal called off, but a defender for Luxembourg is also sent off. 10 minutes later, Budu Zivzivadze grabs his second and Georgia advanced to the final. And so, the Path C final was now set. Would Georgia qualify for their first ever major tournament, or would the United Nations have to be very concerned about what would be happening in Germany, specifically Dortmund, in June? Both teams were pretty solid in the back, and nothing could really separate the two in 90 minutes. However, into extra time, the game started to open up more. Greece's best chance came from Mavropanos, whose header nailed the crossbar, and Georgia nearly stole the game in the 119th minute. But still, nothing could separate the two, which means we were going to penalties for a second time that night. Up came Georgi Kokorashvili, and he converts. Tassos Bakasetas for Greece next, and it's saved. Zuriko Davitashvili then follows up and scores. Advantage Georgia. Next was Georgios Masouras to keep Greece alive, and he does just that. Georgia's Mikhailtadze. There's a lot of Georges here, man. Anyways, he misses completely. Andreas Boukoulakis then converts for Greece, and we're back level in the shootout. Lasha Devali in Georgia's 4th attempt does a good job not collapsing under pressure. Georgios Giacomakis? Not so much. And with that miss, Nika Keveskiri had the opportunity to make history for his nation, and he does just that. The fans in Tbilisi stormed the pitch in absolute jubilation as Georgia will be in Euro 2024 this summer. So without further ado, let's go and look back at the groups for your Euro 2024. In Group A, we have host Germany, Scotland, Hungary, and Switzerland. Group B gives us Spain, Croatia, Italy, and Albania. Group C, Slovenia, Denmark, Serbia, and England. In Group D, we have Netherlands, Australia, France, and now Poland. Lord have mercy on Poland. In Group B, we have Belgium, Slovakia, Romania, and now Ukraine. And in Group F, we have Turkey, Portugal, Czechia, and Georgia. We'll do predictions later, Euro kits, all that kind of stuff. We'll do that in a later time. It is currently March. Well, it's going to be April pretty soon. But right now, we're still pretty far from the tournament. But I will ask you guys at least now, has your team made it to the Euros? And if they haven't, how do you feel? Do you want to end it all? But if they did make it, how are you feeling about your chances going into the Euros this summer? Let me know. Of course, a massive shout out to all our patrons, of course, including Janos Balas, Brazilian Fury, Miliaway009, A Wise Orange, Adnazir Makalankam, Aldipu, Alex Rod, Ulta, Amar, Bias, Galan, Batar, Anaya20, Araisan, Billy Jack, Hysteria, Miguel Munoz, Return Fire, Rory Burns, Slider Kit, Snifrix, Taku Okafan, Tanap Emilia Celine Khan, Tamakis, Victor, Chris Visconti, Dominic Griffin, Louis Joe Paricio, Kencha Hagatra, Kyler Krebs, Lucian Von Croix, Niche, Patrick Barley, Rashford God 5, Rowan Cookie, Raspberry Ale, Sylvia Citrus, subscribe to 10 Day Tem, and Unbroken Persona. If you'd like to join the Patreon, there'll be a link down below and up at the annotations. You can, of course, follow my Twitter, Instagram, whatever, but really, just check out the merch, because the merch looks cool. I want you guys to get the merch, because I want you guys to look cool. You can also follow my Twitch if you want to. I might be active in like the next month or so. I'm not sure. But until then, I'll see you guys.